Hello, students. It's Sam Bennett, your guide to critical thinking, and this is another short video on a key concept. In this video, I'll be discussing the topic of invalid deductive arguments. So, some deductive arguments are valid, some are invalid. In this video, I'll teach you how to tell if a deductive argument is invalid rather than valid. I'll show you what to look for when you're looking to find out if an argument is invalid. Okay, so being invalid, by the way, is a flaw. Okay, so not every deductive argument is perfect. It is bad. It is a bad thing for a deductive argument to be invalid. Right? So just as it's bad for a car to have a flat tire, it's bad for a deductive argument to be invalid. All right. Now, before we get into what invalidity is, let's look at an example of a valid deductive argument. All right. Here's the argument. Sam Bennett was born in 1988. Therefore, Sam Bennett was born before 1990. This argument is valid. Can you pause the video and guess? Take a guess as to why the argument is valid. Well, if you guess that the reason it's valid is that I was actually born in 1988, that's not right. I was not born in 1988, and I was not born before 1990. I was actually born in 1991, okay? So validity, it doesn't have to do with whether the premises or the conclusion are true. All right, so let me explain why it's valid. The reason why it's valid, here's one way of putting it, is that the conclusion follows necessarily from the premise. Okay? Let me put it another way. If we accept this premise, if we accept that I was born in 1988, well, guess what? Then it's guaranteed that I was born before 1990. So let me say that again. The reason it's valid is because if we accept the premise, then the conclusion is guaranteed. All right, let's look at an invalid argument. All right, so all professional wrestlers are super strong. Sir Slam-A-Lot is super strong. Therefore, Sir Slam-A-Lot is a professional wrestler. Okay, so the question is, first, why is this argument deductive? I first want you to get clear about that. And then second, why is this argument invalid? So please pause the video and ask yourself, why is this argument deductive and why is it invalid? All right, first, let's talk about why it's deductive. So here's one way of explaining it. If you look at this argument, you get the impression that the speaker believes the conclusion is guaranteed by the other information. So here's the conclusion. Therefore, that's a conclusion indicator. Sir Slam-A-Lot is a professional wrestler. So the conclusion is Sir Slam-A-Lot is a professional wrestler. And when you look at the context, it's pretty clear that the speaker believes this conclusion is guaranteed by the premises, by this other information. So that's why it's deductive, because the speaker believes the conclusion is guaranteed to follow from the other information. But why is it invalid? Well, here it is. The speaker thinks it's guaranteed. The speaker thinks the conclusion is guaranteed, but the speaker's wrong. The conclusion is not guaranteed to follow from the other information. That's why it's invalid. Let me explain that, okay? So I've divided the premises from the conclusion. This is very important. I've divided them in my mind, okay? Here are the premises in the yellow. I've divided that from the conclusion. And this is my question. Does this conclusion necessarily follow from these premises? No, it doesn't. In other words, if we accept these premises, is the conclusion guaranteed? No, it is not. That's why it's invalid. Think about it. Every professional wrestler can be super strong. Fine. We can accept that. We can accept that Sir Slam-A-Lot is super strong, but that doesn't guarantee he's a professional wrestler. He might just be a mechanic who happens to be very strong. He could be a plumber who happens to be very strong, right? Just because Sir Slam-A-Lot is super strong, just because every professional wrestler is super strong, that doesn't guarantee that Sir Slam-A-Lot is a professional wrestler. Okay, so that's why this is an invalid argument. All right, so just to review, here's the procedure. When you want to figure out if something's invalid, here's the procedure. Okay, divide the premises from the conclusion, separate them, accept the premises, and then ask yourself, is the conclusion guaranteed to follow from the premises? If it is guaranteed, then the argument is valid. But if it's not guaranteed, it's invalid. All right, thanks for watching.